Hello, my loves. It is yours truly. This is not a pre-recorded episode. We are live.
Back.
Guess who's back again. Guess who's back? Phone a friend. I don't think that's the line.
Phone a friend.
But we would like to congratulate. Isn't that like on The Price is Right or something? Who can you phone a friend?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Phone
producer John. I do want to say congratulations to Eminem. He will be a grandpa, the hottest grandpa of all the gramps. So, woohoo! You can't tell, but we're clapping and cheering.
That's the only grandpa I would let get it. Well, I don't know that for sure. I'd let him get it, though.
I would let M hit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Same.
And I wouldn't even care if he never called me again, which he probably wouldn't. But, you know, who else?
But M.
Nobody. Maybe 50. And Dr. Dre. There's a lot of them, actually. Never mind. There's a lot.
Moving on.
Line them up. Who wouldn't I let
line
hit?
them up.
I have to
Easton.
go. Yes.
Be kind. Try not to call your sister a whore on this podcast.
I know we're
episode.
talking about this later, but I think I have to redo my list since the Diddy news.
Oh, we're talking about it,
Okay.
babe. So this episode, because I've been out and we haven't talked about a lot lately, we're going to talk about what's been in the news since I've been away, because I have been appalled. I've been excited. We have many housewives that have started. I don't know what Bravo was doing. I feel like there was a chunk of time where I'm like, where are the housewives? And now we're back where we've got, I think, three or four housewives running at a time. We've got Dubai. We've got Miami's going to start soon. We've got OC that's about to wrap up. Fantastic season. New York just started and Salt Lake just started. So I'm a happy camper.
Yay.
Same. Bryn's back on the TV.
Oh, and she's looking fine.
She always is.
So a little update. I did get hemorrhoids after birth.
No, you didn't.
I did. I felt a tremendous, Easton, I'm sorry, tremendous amount of pain in my asshole.
In her anus.
And I was like, what is this? And my sister-in-law, who I did fill you guys in on, I do have a sister-in-law. I have an older brother. He would technically be considered a half. I'd never call him a half brother because he's my brother. My mom entered his life when he was 2. And so my sister-in-law, who was in the room, her name's Cheryl, she was like, I think you have hemorrhoids. And I'm like, Google it. What are the symptoms of la hemorrhoid? And she was like, yours. That's what it is.
You told me, you were proud too. You were like, I didn't get hemorrhoids this time. Hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids. I hate it. I hate it just as much as I hate Milwaukee.
You said you didn't get them and you got them?
I did, and I think it's because I was constipated and trying to not be. It had nothing to do with Sosa.
Really giving a push.
I was
Really?
giving a lot of lip push.
Thoughts and prayers to your asshole.
Get out
Thank
your
you.
muscle.
You're welcome.
I'm still on cloud 9. I will
From the
say
hemorrhoids?
that. No, just from the birth of Sosa, Ocean, and what a spectacular human she is. She's just... I call Ocean my golden child, and I call Sosa my dream baby. Don't come for me. There is no difference. I love them both equally, but there is something about your firstborn, the baby who made you a mom, watching her, take on this sisterly role. She knows where the burp cloths are. She is just thriving in this position, and she tells me, I told her she's killing it. So now she'll push Sosa. The Duna can go down to kind of her level, the pusher thing. The stroller, but yeah. And she goes, look, Mom, I'm killing it. And I'm like, you are. She's just everything. So I'm super happy. Sosa is the best baby. Unless she has a dirty diaper, wants the boob, or has a burp, she is chilling. Her eyes are blue. She's the most gorgeous thing. I'm a biased mama. She is a gorgeous, gorgeous baby.
She's a pretty girl.
So pretty.
She is. So thank you guys for sending me so much love and support during like the best time of my life. I was a little nervous. I think I said that I didn't know if I would love her immediately because it wasn't the cookie cutter way of having a baby. Khloe Kardashian, I think, was the first person of that magnitude, elevation, to say like, I don't feel the same way about this baby because it was different. It was not the conventional way. And I found it very impactful and empowering to say something like that because it is not something that women talk about. Like I said, the moment she came out, I was thrilled that like I was in love because I was a little nervous. It was a different pregnancy. I used to sing to Ocean in the belly. And the night before I gave birth to Sosa, I kind of like talked to her and sang to her for the first time during my entire pregnancy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it's different. Like always hear the second time around is different. Speaking of that, how do you feel now that you're officially back, quote unquote? I mean, you've really been working since probably like a week after Sosa because you're just
I felt
hustling.
good. I felt really good.
But how do you feel being back officially? Are you sad? Are you excited? We're happy to have you back.
Back on the horse.
Yeah.
It's mixed feelings. I feel very excited to be back with you guys and I enjoy working. But I'm funny and I've spoken about this many times on the pod. Ever since my dad passed away, I am funny with time. It freaks me out. And I looked at Sosa today. She's officially a month and some change. And I'm like, it's over. Like she's here. And I will say her newborn clothing, I was planning on giving it away, but it's gone into storage because I am not.
More boxes.
Think I'm done.
That is wild. That makes me very excited, by the way.
I wouldn't make a big to-do, though. If I had a third and, like, it took and it was you're pregnant and we're good to go, I would not make it some big, like, posting thing. I think once people start tapping into, like, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's, like, enough already.
Is there a world in which you're pregnant and nobody knows and then because you wear baggy clothes and then one day it's like, wait, what? Lala had a baby?
Yeah, I think it would just be, like, as simple as I'm clearly a pregnant person.
Right.
And it's great and we're excited. But the whole, like, I don't want anyone to find out. I want to announce because that is a lot of fun. And some people are like, who the fuck do you think you are? And I'm like, I'm fucking Lala Kent. That's who the fuck I think I am.
Right.
So, of course, my children will have, it'll be a big to-do.
Right.
But I am aware that once you start pushing into a lot of children, it's like, we got it. Thanks.
We know what they look like now.
You know?
We get it.
Not because I would love it any less, but just,
Right.
Anyway, let's move on. Yes, I'm on cloud 9. Let's get the pod a poppin'. So first things first, I walked in. Producer John told me, did you hear that the Kansas City Chief wives and Bravo, the universes of the NFL and your world, Bravo, are colliding? And I said, oh, whoa, what do you mean? And he said that Bravo's in talks with Kansas City Chiefs housewives.
Okay.
Wives of these players are in talks with Bravo about having a reality show.
Honestly, that would be so good.
I would love it. It would be like the better version of Wags. Like they'd
Yes.
get more than like 2 seasons, you know?
Right.
I was
loved
just thinking
Wags.
it would be just like Wags.
I loved Wags.
Without.
Did you?
Mhm.
Well, you were one of not many.
Unfortunately.
It did not last long.
Bring it back. Okay, question. The big question. Do you think Brittany, is it Mahomes?
Mahomes.
I like Mahones.
Mahomes and Miss
Mahome.
Taylor Swift will be part of it.
Home.
Oh, Mahome.
Mahomes.
Like home free.
Like home is where the heart is.
Yep.
Okay.
Or that.
Can tell where you just came from.
All sentimental. Do you think they'll be part of it? Brittany and Taylor.
They said no. They said that
what do you mean they
those
said
two
no?
are
Both of them said no.
they,
or
the publication,
just-
the publication gods, the writer gods.
I have a
said
feeling that
no.
Patrick Mahomes wouldn't let. What's her
Wouldn't
name?
let. Is that his vibe?
I think that they have a vibe
She is
of
very. A lot of people agree. She's very wild and does
she's a wild-
outlandish shit. And, I mean,
fun. She sounds like a
yeah, and I
bag of
think-
fun.
Yeah,
Did you guys not see the clip of her so fun partying during the Super Bowl with the drink? And then like someone comes to get back there. Who was it? It was like
I
her
have no
brother.
idea.
To calm her down?
I just remember
No.
seeing them courtside.
She
But go
wanted
on.
to be, it was Brittany and she's with her friend. She has a drink. Producer John, did you see this?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson who was trying to get into with her, and you see him
Backstage.
talking to the security guard, and she's dancing with people in the
She's
crowd,
dancing with-
and then they push him away, and she kind of looks over and just like goes
She-
back to partying, just
She
like shakes
looks
her
over.
head. Yeah,
She could have went over and helped him, and she looks over and she's like, and she visibly shrugs and goes back to partying. And I'm like, that's my girl. I like her.
that is a girl who lives in the moment.
But they
She's
were
like, I can't be
courtside?
bothered. They could literally shove Patrick to the ground right now.
Eh.
Maybe even my children. And you're not fucking
But
with
I'm
my
not
vodka
spilling
buzz.
this
Yeah.
But, there was
Bet
a
you I can dance a whole
video.
song and not spill it.
Ooh, I see. Yeah.
Little Mac Dre for you.
They were courtside basketball game, and
Yeah.
it was her and Patrick looks and says something, and then you can see what she says. She looks to her friend and she goes, "He just said to stop having a resting bitch face."
No, never stop it, Brittany. I love a resting bitch face.
Isn't there a meme where she's like rolling her eyes and like I swear I've seen that everywhere. And yeah, exactly what you're doing, Lala. And there's a screenshot of her.
like
She's
rolling
like
her eyes
just all
and-
pissed. It's
Okay, I'm
funny.
officially
Do it.
obsessed with her.
Do it again. I missed it.
Well, she seems like a girl that would go.
That's what she did after she
I'm obsessed
said
with her
not to
now.
have a resting bitch face. She goes,
Oh, I thought she was like a little square.
"No, she's kind
No.
of."
But I'm off the internet, so I don't know
There
what
you
the
go.
fuck is going
I'm
on.
going to ask a spicy question that I might get dragged for, but here we go. Do you think before she was friends with Taylor,
She would have.
done this show, but because she's, I'm not saying it, but I'm just throwing it out there, might be a little high on her horse now that she's best friends with Taylor? She's like, I'm not doing that.
You know what? I love a bitch on a high horse.
Okay.
I am a bitch on a high horse.
Hey, B. Hey, Tay.
No, I love it. Be on your high horse. You're friends with Taylor Swift. You're with like the most famous quarterback on the planet. Be on your high horse. Don't go on a show that could potentially like show
Ruin
the
that.
real you.
Yeah, if she doesn't
Right?
want it.
And then
And they
ruin
have
Patrick
kids.
Mahomes' whole
We
career.
all have kids, babe.
We all have kids.
We just don't have as much at stake. You know?
No, she is on a, you know what? You're right. If
Just
she's
our
on a high
reputations
horse,
and our children. That's fine.
be on the stallion. You be on the freaking stallion. I'm on a donkey.
She's
No, she's on a sled.
I'm over here on a donkey. You guys are stallioning through the streets, and I'm trying to keep up on my donkey.
Yeah, but I feel like your donkey
It's so
has the
cute.
voice of Eddie Murphy. So it's
of
fine.
Shrek's donkey.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Donkey.
His name's Donkey.
Donkey.
Get it
bad.
together. That's why I always say that'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
Sounds like James.
Did you know today is a great day to warranty? Well, actually, every day is a great day when you're not worrying about your appliances and home systems. And that's what you get with American Home Shield Warranty. I signed up with American Home Shield the moment I decided to buy my house. With an American Home Shield warranty, unexpected breakdowns like a leaky faucet or faulty water heater won't break the bank because covered repairs and replacements are taken care of just like that. And not by me, my mom, or Easton. We wouldn't know the first thing to do if something stopped working in this house. I just contact American Home Shield when a covered item breaks, and their trusted and qualified pros will fix or replace it based on the coverage limits in your agreement. So having that sort of reassurance from American Home Shield is something to celebrate. When it comes to protecting your appliances and home systems, don't worry, be warranty. Visit ahs.com/GTL today to get 20% off any plan. That's ahs.com/GTL for 20% off any plan. For more details, see ahs.com/contracts for coverage details, including limit amounts, fees, limitations, and exclusions.
So back, I think it was like September 27th, the breakup of T Swift and Travis Kelce was supposed to come and they were going to separate. And that was the PR plan. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, we knew it was fake. And then there's the other side who's like, keep in mind, I am a huge T Swift fan. And I think that the PR thing was just like bullshit, right?
Oh,
Them
so
saying it was leaked, that they were going to
Gotcha.
break up.
So you think, got it.
No,
You
they're
think that's real. You think Taylor, just so I'm clear, Taylor and Travis's relationship is real and the PR thing is all fake.
As
I
real
think
as
they're
it
gonna
could
get
be for
married
the entertainment they're in.
and
like
have
the
babies.
position. You do?
They'd have cute
Yes.
babies.
It's so cute.
How would she carry? Very
Well,
long.
Very long.
She'd be a lot of baby. She's got a long torso, long legs, so I feel like the bump would be very like,
Elongated.
yeah.
I feel like she'd be like you, La, where you turn around and you can't
tell she's
from
pregnant.
behind.
100% she would carry that way. But you know, sometimes there's rounder bumps where it's just like a basketball. Sometimes it's like very outward and this way, you know? I thought that's what you meant, what the shape of her bump will be.
That's
I
what
was
I
talking
thought.
about the
I
shape
thought
of her bump.
I think that's what
what
he
I
did
was
mean.
talking about.
That is. But you were like, I feel like from behind, I'm like, oh, she's no. By the way, most favorite pregnant person on the planet, Kim K. I
What?
loved her feet splooging out of her shoes.
Oh, iconic.
The
I'm like
diaper.
that bitch is making a baby.
Living her best life too, squeezing into those shoes and rocking them.
The floral outfit.
No, my feet look like that in strappy shoes, not pregnant. So that's the vibe.
I love a pregnant woman.
Me too.
Truly. So we've learned that Diddy is a piece of shit,
Is
even more so
diddling.
than we thought.
I
love that they're calling him the diddler.
He literally, I've never been more sick to my stomach over the TikToks and the articles and stuff that I've seen. He's a disgusting, vile human.
Well, now the new thing is it's a conspiracy that it's not even him. If you go look at his mugshot, have you seen that?
Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I feel like if the math is mathing, I can buy into it.
So what are they saying? So I know they're saying that Diddy has like someone in jail for him.
A clone.
And he's running around the streets free.
Well, that's the new thing. Everybody's
guys,
saying that everybody has a clone. Chris Brown came out and said he has one.
Well, I think that's just him trying to get the people talking again.
Well,
I've
just
never
being
forgiven
out.
him
Time
either.
will
I don't
tell.
like him.
Time will tell, you know?
I'll believe anything right now.
There's a guy in prison who's like, so I was employed by Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, what are you talking? He's like, have you heard of Sean Combs? He's like, so I was there to have sex with Cassie.
He was like, I was a
and
sex
everyone's
slave.
like, yeah, and everyone's like, he's
nuts.
insane.
And he was like, and Diddy would masturbate and while he would tell me what to do to Cassie.
And it's
And
all
of it is on tape.
true.
And now
and at the time,
you're thinking he needs meds.
Well,
yeah, you did.
the people, okay.
And that is where I will believe anything at this point.
That's true.
Yeah. The TikTok I sent you guys, this is all allegedly Kim Porter's alleged book on that is going around in the news. I know it's been like a week or two. Allegedly, Kim Porter wrote a book and it was leaked, but it is, the alleged story is mind-blowing and it puts together so many things. And there's a TikTok, I'm going to our group text 1 second because I think it's so important. So you guys, again, this is all alleged, but if you want to hear about it, there's a TikTok and the girl really breaks it down. She goes through this book, Amanda Rollins, Rollins. And she basically just like goes through this alleged book that Kim Porter wrote before she died, but she fact checks. So she reads something and she goes like, for instance, the guy who took the fall when Diddy, there was an incident, I'm not going to say it, in a nightclub, a violent incident when Diddy was with J-Lo. And then a guy took the fall and Diddy was not, he was innocent. She fact checks the stuff in Kim Porter's alleged book and it all matches up. Like this guy went to jail. It is crazy and it's so dark. And I just really encourage you to go watch those clips because it's like, I personally believe.
I believe it all.
Yeah.
Who's the girl that you follow on TikTok, Easton? I think she's in the music industry. She was talking a lot about Aaliyah's death. And again, this is all allegedly that we're talking about things that have been posted on TikTok and Instagram. So I do want to talk about one thing that since Jay-Z's name is being brought into this, I wrote in my book something that happened with me and a very well-known agent at the time when I was 14. And a very large, still to this day, very large agency. And I had gone to meet with this agent and we were naive and from Utah and my mom sent me alone. And he took me down the elevator and pressed the thing to make the elevator stop and tried to kiss me. Do you remember this? I wrote about it in my book.
Yes.
There was a piece of that story that I somehow had forgotten and my mom brought it up. And it happened before the elevator incident with this agent. And keep in mind, he was written about in the Hollywood Reporter as top 100 people you must know in Hollywood. And he was ranked in there, okay? And pretty high up. And I remember driving from LA with my mom and my dad back to Newport Beach. And I get a phone call from this agent. And he asks me if I want to go to a Jay-Z party that night. And I thought it was so strange because I'm like, I can't get into a Jay-Z party. I'm 14. Like I'm no way going to pass as 21. I can't even pass as like 18 at this point. And I'm not saying that Jay-Z is a part of this in any way, shape, or form, okay? He's being thrown into this mix as well as a lot of other people. These are all allegations. I cannot stress that enough. Mm-hmm. However, it did kind of make me feel uneasy when my mom brought that up, and I was like, oh my God.
What happened? I'm assuming you said it out loud to your mom, and she was like, you're not going anywhere tonight with an agent.
You know, you wouldn't know it based on how my life ended up a few years ago. I had a very strong gut when I was young. And I think it's why I didn't, and I was a nervous child and I was an insecure child. The whole reason I don't think I went was because I watched a lot of TV from the time I was a young girl that I don't think I had the healthiest of what a body image should be, which is what I try to prevent for Ocean. I don't like her watching YouTube and real life people because I want her to watch cartoons and things like that because I know how the things that I saw, even just watching Mary-Kate and Ashley. Keep in mind, I was watching, like I mentioned, a Nelly music video that sticks in my mind where it was like late at night it would only play where he's swiping credit cards in booties. Mm-hmm. I was seeing things like that at a young age. And when I say young, I was probably late elementary, junior high, young, impressionable, right? Those things I felt very insecure about my body, my ears, my nose, everything about it. So I didn't even ask my mom and dad. Number one, they would have been like, you're fucking crazy.
Right.
We're on family vacation and we got to get to the beach at 6 a.m.
Really
I
is
love that.
But it prevented me from doing a lot of things, my insecurities. Thank God.
Thank God. I have
Yes.
a question for you. Is this agent, and apologies if you wrote it in your book, was this agent ever outed? Or is he still working?
My mother called him,
Okay.
called the agency,
Yeah.
and said, I would like to talk to so-and-so. They said, and I was there when my mom made the call because I think she was ready to take an axe to his throat. Mm-hmm. She was giving him the heads up that I'm coming to take an axe to your throat. And they said he no longer works here and hung up on her. I heard a few years ago that he was now in Brazil. But he's a piece of shit.
He probably fleeing in Brazil, or he would have gotten got. He would have
Whatever
gotten
the
exposed.
case, I'm thrilled I didn't go, whether it was true or isn't true with what's going on with these allegations and who is involved and who knew. I'm thrilled I didn't go because no matter what, it was an unhealthy environment for a 14-year-old.
Thank
Is this
God.
the girl?
Yeah, that's the girl.
Jaguar right.
She's
Protect her
a
at all
savage,
costs.
and we must protect her at all costs. And I watched, there's a lot of stuff coming out on Hulu about Diddy. TMZ, you know, they are on top of their shit. They turn these like documentaries out in no time. There's a girl, Talia Graves, who's interviewed. And next to her is Gloria Allred. And what makes me nervous about this entire situation, because they're talking about who's going to testify in this Diddy case, I am praying to God that Cassie testifies. I pray to God that, there's 120 new allegations, right, that are coming up. I hope that every single person shows up and testifies. And what I have learned from my own experience with the legal system in general is you can go out and talk to publications, you can show text messages and all the things. You must show up in court in order to make any of it matter. They say you need a warm body in a seat to say, yes, that message was sent. It's not enough to just have the Cassie video out there. She has to be the warm body in the seat. Talia Graves with Gloria Allred. My personal experience, someone being represented by her, she is out for the settlement. From what I have experienced, I pray to God that Gloria Allred is wanting both. We're testifying, and we're going to get something to try and make it a little better. These women have been traumatized, and no dollar amount on the planet is going to take away what they have experienced. But motherfucker, you're going to pay in more than one way.
Right. Let's hope and pray for that.
I'm praying to God that they all show up. And I know it's going to be difficult, but I was watching The Ex. There's a show by Blumhouse. It was the worst roommate ever.
Yeah.
He now has the worst ex ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a couple women, the first episode of The Worst Ex Ever, because there were a couple women who didn't show up to testify against this man, and they went to the police. They did everything they should have done, but they didn't show up to court. This man was set free and went on to murder many people.
Yep.
So you gotta show up. I know it's fucking hard. I truly cannot even imagine if any of those people listen to this podcast. Show up.
Not only hard, I'm sure it's truly traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you showing up is sacrificing a lot, but it's also like doing the most good you could possibly do. In my opinion, I've never been in this situation. However,
I think it's very important to state that none of us have been in that situation.
Ever. I've never been in this situation. However, I will say I've learned and heard over the past couple of years, and even seen in some of your situations, Law, that I don't think people can grasp, because when I talk to friends from home about it, in order for most things to make it to the news, to see the light of day, I'm talking Diddy's, like, you know, the FBI agents and all this, there has to be already so much evidence in order for things to just like hit the news. There are so many things that happen where there's so much evidence, so many people saying, yes, this is what happened, so many people testifying, so many depositions, and one little thing shuts it down and it never sees the light of day.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, I'm talking bad, evil people, and then they get one thing to shut it down, or one or two people don't show up and testify, or they get paid off, and it never sees the light of day.
Well, I think this goes back to when I was talking to Heather McDonald, and she talked about, I believe it's called citizens journalism, where we have the internet now. So I think it's very important for anybody with an Instagram page, a Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, a podcast, don't stop talking about it. Because if the legal system isn't going to hold people accountable, they will if we all make enough fucking noise. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to talk about it and continue talking about it.
Give Them Lala is sponsored by BetterHelp. Think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask. October is the season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to. At work, in social settings, around our family, therapy can help you learn to accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask. Because masks should be for Halloween fun, not for our emotions. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Visit BetterHelp.com/GTL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GTL.
Have we loved OC Housewives in Salt Lake? I have to be
So
honest,
much.
because
Yes.
I've been in my baby bliss. We watched, I love.
Yes.
I haven't gotten around to New York, but I fully intend on binging.
I'm excited for New York.
I know you're excited for New York, Jess. So let's talk OC first. I want to go back a few episodes. Let's first talk about how I feel about all the OC Housewives. Start with Tamara. Tamara is my homegirl, right? Like, I love her. So no matter what she does, stirs that pot to the best of her ability, and she does it like no one else. It is fucking wild. I'm always down for her. Like, you can't get me to not be down for her.
Right.
Okay? So I'm down for pretty much this entire cast. I don't think Alexis counts as part of the cast yet.
She's a friend of. You're
She's
just
a friend of.
They say that.
So, yeah, you're just a friend.
You're just a
Emily,
friend.
my favorite.
Yeah.
So if we're taking the cast, the people holding the oranges, this season is giving me OG Roni, in the sense that I never watched OG Roni, and I'm talking about the ones we all know, right? And thought that person annoys me.
Okay.
There was something about all of them that I was like, I just dig it. You're an ensemble cast. You cannot lose anybody. They are must-have characters. I loved them all. That's how I feel this season. Jen, love her. Katie is
I was going to say, what about Katie?
Katie is the most fantastic new housewife to ever exist.
Stop. That
Ever.
is such a bold
Really?
statement.
Ever.
So she gets Rookie of the Year
Oh, yes. If they
Why?
gave awards,
for Rookies of the Year.
there's
they should.
it's kind of, when I tell people this is the greatest season of OC, and they're like, why? And I'm like, you can't explain it. There's just something that mixes right. You threw in the ingredients, and
It's
yes,
just this taste.
I know, Teresa Judice.
I figured.
We threw in some cumin,
Oh,
okay?
no.
We keep coming back.
and it just works. I don't know what we did differently with the dish, but it's working.
Yeah.
It's tasting fantastic. She gets Rookie of the Year. She just came in and it was like, who is this breath of fresh air? She's not too try hard. She just fits.
Wow, I didn't expect you to say that, but maybe I need to. I don't know. I did not expect you to say that.
I'm truly obsessed with her.
I love it.
And usually when there's a new housewife, I'm like the girl at school, and there's when I watch Housewives, I'm the girl at
The new
school
pretty girl.
who the new girl walks in and it's like, she can't sit with us.
Right.
Like, that's how I am with my housewives. Who the
Right.
fuck is this? Please stop giving her a moment at home. She's got to she's an acquired taste. Let's wait to give her her own scene. I care about every fucking thing that comes out of her mouth and what she does. Her kids are cute as fuck.
Yes.
I love how open she is. Her husband is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
She is stunning, funny, witty. And I loved the line where she talks about her ex-husband.
Wait, remind.
Okay, this is like a few episodes ago. She talks about her husband. She's like, even his hair, she goes, I saw a picture of him today and even his hairline is running away from him. And I'm like, the shade to the ex. Yes! Drag them. Drag
them all. That's
It's
funny.
There's
fantastic.
nothing worse than that, though.
If you're an asshole,
You deserve
you're
it.
getting dragged.
You're getting dragged.
You're getting fucking dragged. And by the way, I'm the type of person where I don't fixate on anything. If you are kind and you show up and you do your thing, when there's a fucking ex who's been a shit, I gotta stop saying shit, by the way. Ocean doesn't say
shitbag.
fuck anymore, but she says shit.
She does.
Love shit.
Mhm. She goes, you're a little poopy shit. I'm like, you cannot say that. And she goes, it's not the fuck word, Mom. And I'm like, it's still bad. There's many a bad words. So
I
stop
love her
saying it.
so much.
But I'm like, if you're a shit, we're
Yeah.
mentioning it all. Like spread, mention it all.
Mention it all. Ugh, I have questions for you. Talk about what you want, but you said that not bold. You said that powerful statement about loving Tamara. Do you feel the same about Eddie?
I love Eddie.
You love Eddie.
I love Eddie. Sorry.
Okay.
Love Eddie.
Okay, I can't wait to get into the dinner scene then.
Okay, we're going to get into it. So that's my Gina and Emily. This is their season. This is their moment for both of them. I will say Emily, I've always thought the moment she entered my screen was one of the sexiest humans I've ever
Her
seen.
aura
Stunning.
is the best.
She is funny. She is stunning. And I'm happy that I'm happy she lost the weight for her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing this season because of the fashion show and all of those things that we'll get into. But I'm happy that she is in a place where she feels good and accomplished. But let's make it very clear, the moment she stepped onto Housewives, she was fucking hot.
Stunning.
And I have the weird DMs that I sent to her
Stop.
to prove that I was.
Did she ever
hot.
respond?
Of course she did.
Oh.
Oh, yay!
Of course she did. She says on her podcast that she's done that that she feels that she and I are a lot alike, and it's the biggest compliment that I've ever gotten.
Invite her over. I'll look at her.
No, I'm
she's
obsessed.
beautiful.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
I'm like, Shane, you must be hitting it right.
Shane is packing something that
Shane must be packing because I'm like,
there's no way he's not.
No, he is.
there used to be a guy on Katie Maloney's Instagram page when she was married to Schwartzy, and every photo she posted would say in the comment section, Schwartz ain't hitting it right.
Was he just a random guy?
Random guy, every photo. And it made
I have
me
a feeling
so
you just do a
happy.
lot of laughing with having sex with Schwartz. Not a lot of pleasure, but there's some good jokes.
I would rather laugh.
Well,
I get an
know it
orgasm
because
from
that's
a
me.
vibrator. Not
I
that
bet
that anyone wants to know that.
I
But
could have taken that with you, but here we are.
You've heard all about my hair struggles in the past, especially all the issues I was having during pregnancy and after pregnancy. Those pregnancy hormones, I'm telling you, they are no joke. Now that I have baby Sosa, we are all here to celebrate her arrival, but I'm also celebrating the fact that my hair is loving me because I've been taking Nutrafol again. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. I am, and I love it. Everyone's root causes for hair thinning are different, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas that are all tailored to give your hair what it needs to grow throughout different stages, such as postpartum and menopause, as well as different lifestyles such as plant-based diets. Just purchase online, no prescription required. Get results you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Give Them Lala listeners $10 off their first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter my promo code LALA10. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LALA10.
I quickly want to say, throwback, Shannon showing Heather the photo of her after she crashed. She took the photo, sent it to John. John didn't respond. To make it very clear, love Shannon Bador. She has never looked better than this season, and I know she's going through a lot. I do not understand how you could take that photo, see yourself like that, and continue to drink.
I know.
That should be your cry for help.
Everyone, I know. Everyone is different. I'm literally,
It isn't her rock bottom.
I guess it wasn't.
Everyone's rock bottom is very different.
It's a little scary. Because some are worse than others,
Yeah,
and some
I'm
you're like,
hoping
oh,
that
this isn't your rock bottom. I
Right.
pray you don't have a worse rock bottom.
And you know what? Maybe she has learned to drink and she's like a very different. I know people like that who are like, I went through a lot and they can now have a glass of wine. I'm envious of those people. I'm saying personally, that seemed like a rock bottom. And I can understand why people would, a part of the cast, be like, how could you still drink?
Yeah.
I am understanding of that. I also am understanding of how she feels that no one is supporting her when she's going through a really tough time. I feel that she's always going through a rough time, though.
Agreed. But if she were to take away from liquor, would people give a shit?
What do you mean?
If she would stop drinking? Do you get what I'm
Would
saying?
people care?
Would people start to care? Because
Like,
it's like you
about
crashed
her?
her. Yeah. Like if you just said that like she feels like no one cares about her, right?
She's also alone.
If you keep doing, yeah.
She
but
focuses on that a lot. She's very lonely. I'm
if
not
I were
saying
to see
there's a
her,
reason.
but if I were to see her crash her car, see that photo, and she's continuing to drink, I'm not going to give a fuck about your problems as much as I should.
Well, I think
if
that's
you take
where
a
some of
whole
the
direction
cast...
and you're like, hey, I'm dead sober, I fucked up, I need help, she'd have everybody there for her.
I see what
But when
you're
you're doing the same thing, I'm insane for fucking participating in your insanity.
Well, that's where Tamara Judge is. And Tamara Judge, you know, she talks about her childhood. She's got grit to her. She's not coming to you presenting her concerns about you in a pretty package. She's tough. And that's not how a lot of people respond. They don't respond well to that. And Shannon's not. So I understand where Tamara is with being like, what the fuck? She's just delivering it in a way that Shannon is not. She's not
somebody
taking
does
to it.
care.
I think Tamara cares a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure, you know what, we only see, like you always say, we only see what we see on camera. So we don't see what she's struggling with. We see a little bit of her saying how lonely she is and how quiet it is. And I can't imagine if you are struggling with alcohol, I'm not saying she is, being in that situation and then not having your crutch to turn to or anything to like numb the silence or like just... I'm sure it's very difficult, but yeah, no, I see where you're coming from.
There are moments, though, throughout the years that she's been a part of the show, and as an outsider, her life seems to be unmanageable. And I wish that she would bring, so I'm feeling this way, I'm making my notes, right? And I'm reflecting because I'm a housewife connoisseur, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, she's going through a hard time, but like she's been through other things, and even when on good days, she seems to just feel a little chaotic and down and wet blanket-ish. But then we're at her birthday party in the most recent episode. And the energy she brought there, I'm like, oh, this Shannon is primo. She walks in. She's excited about London. She has like the flag dress on. Mm-hmm. She also says she's sending Alexis a message saying, we're going to London, and I want to make it perfectly clear you are not invited. And I'm like, yes! Where is this Shannon all the time? You don't have to be that person all the time. I actually take that back. Life is fucking hard, and you can have rough days. You don't have to be on 24/7. But I wish that she would channel whatever she was channeling in that moment.
Take with her.
Yes. And again, I've been a fan of Shannon's throughout all the years. I dig her. Mm-hmm. So this is not me slamming her in any way, shape, or form. But that energy was 5-star. I was like, I want to take a little bit of that energy, right? Like, bring back the days where you text people to let them know you're not coming.
I usually just ghosted.
Yeah.
Also, though, understood. I would not be inviting her either if I were you, Shannon.
She wasn't taking any chances.
No.
She was letting her friends know and production. She ain't coming. Reminder, it's my birthday trip.
Right.
What are the odds she comes? I was just about to say, she'll be there.
It's it's like on your show with the who went to the wedding and they weren't invited and they watched from the balcony. Who was that again?
Katie
and who else?
Christina Kelly.
Katie and Christina in Mexico. Not invited to the wedding, but there. It's the greatest. It's so good. Anyway.
It's so good. God, I love Bravo.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll have to.
You're like, you want to know who I need to tell that they're not invited? I forgot to send out my you're not invited invites.
Those go out before the invites, I feel like.
You're going to be hearing about this fabulous time, and I just want to make it perfectly clear.
Fuck you.
You're not a part of it.
That's so funny. That's so good.
Let's talk about the dinner a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
Because we're jumping around. Reminder, I'm talking about all the things that we haven't. So this is the podcast of chaos. The episode of chaos.
Welcome to ADD.
We also have a lot. You have a lot to catch up on. Do we all have ADD or ADHD? We all do.
So
100%. I'm fine.
Represent.
I don't care. I'm a creative. I don't need to be focused.
No.
You think that until I forget 1,000 things from the day.
Until I have
I'm like,
25 projects started and I'm like,
I forgot I did all this.
I just text Jess and I go, please remind me that I need this.
Wish we
and
could
I go,
text
sure thing.
Jess. Sometimes I have to text Jess because I
say, oh my God, no problem. Tear
and
falling
she's
from
like,
my eye. No.
She's going to get hemorrhoids here soon.
I'm kidding. Okay, wait, when you say...
Oh, no.
I've never had hemorrhoids, but I one day I'm sure I will. When you say the dinner, do you mean you said a couple episodes? Are you talking about the dinner where Tamara...
With Eddie.
And Eddie... Now
at Katie's house.
At Katie's house. Now I'm getting stressed. You said a couple episodes ago. Because that was the most recent one I watched.
Oh, well, the tail end, they were still there.
Okay.
So the bulk of the dinner
did
take place, and then Tamara leaves, and so funny. On her way out, doesn't realize there's a step, so she makes this, like, big grand exit and trips and, like, drops her purse, and she's like, fuck! Slams the gate.
She's so funny. I really love her.
So
okay, let's talk about the dinner.
I felt like... Again, I love Jen, and I feel like her heart's in the right place. Ryan scares me a bit. Mm-hmm. I have seen his eyes before in
other people.
Mm-hmm. And it just seems to be these eyes that are very dark and very great at creating stories.
Right.
That he believes. So... It was hard because that's how I feel about him. However, the receipts that Bravo brought about the podcast and what Tamara was accusing him of saying, it was like, oh, you missed on this one, and he's a pretty easy one to get, you know?
Yeah.
But I wish that she would have fact-checked, like maybe listened to the episode. And by the way, again, I don't care to listen to many things. So if I hear it or read a headline, I'm like, fact. And then I talk about it and someone's like, hey, I heard you comment. Did you listen? And I'm like, no. They play it and I go, oh, yes, it was very different than how the headline sounded. Right?
Yes.
So he was indeed telling the truth that he didn't talk about her children.
He was.
In the podcast.
In fact, he he even said, like, I won't speak on that.
He literally said, I won't speak on it. I don't know what goes on in their home.
I don't know why she didn't. Tamara seems like such the person to be like, let me just hear the clip before I go into talking. She knew she was going to talk about this at the dinner.
Well, and then she was on Watch What Happens Live after that episode.
Yeah.
And said that he owed like a Dodger player money or something and then had to go back and say, I misspoke. I was trying to talk about, it didn't even make sense, truly. I still don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But he doesn't owe a Dodger player money, I guess.
Okay.
Or maybe he does.
Maybe.
Wait, because I thought I've heard, I'd have to go back and look, but when this whole thing happened, his name was
Attached?
Was attached to it. They said, with Ohtani's, because it wasn't the player that was involved, it was the player's translator. So Shohei
He was
Ohtani,
involved with that?
So Shohei Ohtani is a player on the Los Angeles Dodgers who everybody, I'm sure, if you're in the sports world, have heard about the gambling thing. It was his interpreter who got caught and who was stealing money from him and was going to another bookie. And I believe this guy from the Housewives was also attached to it as well.
Does this have to do with the FBI or is this a different case?
There we go. Now it's making
it's
sense.
FBI and everything.
It's the FBI, and what Ryan is saying is his friend is a bookie. It's his friend who's being investigated by the FBI. Ryan does not say that. He says he's going through a tough time right now, and we have been fortunate enough when he goes to Vegas, hosts us, meaning him and Jen, he and Jen, and he goes, and I'm not going to talk about it any further. However, this bookie, his office address is Ryan's home address.
Yeah, that's quite intertwined.
Yes, and this is all coming from a sleuth, an internet, a Bravo sleuth. You know how they get on TikToks and they show the documents and talk about the whole thing. That's where it's coming from.
Right. A couple things.
Okay.
I want to ask you about how you feel. Number one, I love Tamara. It was very interesting to watch the Tamara Eddie dynamic.
Okay, tell me.
Because she went in, and for me, especially because we saw their conversation before, for me, I'm watching Eddie, and then you're hearing Jen be like, Eddie, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm not her keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. You're not her keeper. But I could tell, maybe this is just me, he was getting uncomfortable, and he was almost like, and then it goes to show when he's like, stop. She crossed the line to him when she brought up the FBI, because, of course, at the time, I doubt any news articles were leaked that there was an FBI thing. So she brings up the FBI, and that was interesting to me because we saw it, which we'll talk about OC. It's like I saw it with Heather's. It's like the whole, like, don't chastise me in front of the cameras. Don't, like, and
Heather Dubrow.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But it was interesting because I feel like I don't see that a ton with Eddie and Tamara, but for him to be like, stop, and the cameras are around, that was very interesting and very just like a different dynamic that, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I disagree with you.
Okay, let's hear it.
In the sense that I've been watching Tamara and Eddie for many years.
Right.
On television, I've had the luxury of being around them off of the camera. And they have gone through moments where they don't agree. Mm-hmm. She'll come for him. He will come for her. They have, to me, a very healthy relationship, a healthy dynamic. If it can happen behind closed doors, it can happen on camera. Obviously, we all have private lives, and I'm sure they have things that they keep private because that's how you keep your sanity. But I do not agree with you. And I think that he also remembers the time that Tamara spoke on Alexis Bellino's ex-husband, and it cost her a lot of money in a lawsuit. So I think he's also thinking, you've had too much to drink, because we see him that night tell her, he says to Katie's husband, don't let my wife have any more to drink.
I know.
No more.
He was like, okay.
And so I think he was thinking she's had too much to drink, and we're not going there. We're not going there because lawsuits can still come into play. Let's just play it safe. Let's not open ourselves up to problems.
Okay.
You know, that's what I gathered.
No, you know more of their background than I do. I figured
but I like you. I like when we disagree.
as I do too.
So does the audience.
So it's not. So does the audience.
So stick to your guns, bitch.
Well,
stick to your guns.
It's not the same energy then as Heather and her husband, because that seemed a little different. Like they don't disagree.
Again, I love Heather. I love her talking about how much money they have in a roundabout way. I love her very wealthy ass. All right. I find her top tier. But it was interesting. That was a dynamic we haven't seen before when he is about to go into surgery and he kind of comes for her. She tries to shut him down and he doesn't allow it. He goes, and I'm not talking about it. I'm gone. And then they have the moment where they're still mic'd.
Hot mic
moment where she's like, don't do that on camera. I think that there's a little bit, but again, they have a lot to lose.
Well, that's very normal to me. Haven't you ever been? I've been with exes. I mean, not on TV, but at dinner parties or whatever. And then they say something to me, and I take, in the car on the way home, I'm like, don't do that in front of our friends.
Totally.
Like, wait until we get home.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, such a normal, relatable dynamic.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Some people, though, depending on how you grew up, where you come from. I remember my mom for a long time, not this way anymore because we broke her of it, but was very much like, we don't talk about certain things. We don't talk about that because that's how she grew up. Then Easton and I come into the picture and
we'll
talk about everything.
In front of people or within each other?
Both.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think my mom sometimes wonders like how we got here to where we share so much.
Okay, were you in any past relationship, if you disagreed with your partner in front of friends, you just kind of stayed quiet, but it was like, I'm about to go in and the car ride home? Or was it very much no, I disagree with what you say. Tell us more about that in front of the friends. Because I'm very much this is how I was raised, quiet in front of people when I disagree. But in my mind, I'm like, we're going to have a serious conversation when we get home.
Sadly, I have never been in a functioning relationship where one or the other has come into play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what it's like to even have to think about, do I talk about this behind closed doors or check you? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll let you know when I find someone who I like enough to protect or out. I don't know.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle back. Let's talk about Alexis. Let's talk about Emily first, the fashion show, because we picked back up again at Shannon's birthday party. So a couple episodes ago, Emily brings up that she was not offended, but more so hurt. She's lost 40. Okay, I love that. She was hurt that Heather told her to bring jeans and also had her in a size 12 dress when Alexis was also in the same dress. She's lost 40 pounds and it was a trigger for her. She brings it up to Heather. Heather dismisses it. She basically says she's mad because I had her bring jeans. But remember, the rest of the girls were not told to bring jeans. So
they all had pants given to them by Heather.
The whole thing.
Don't ask me to walk unless you're going to get my size of pant.
Okay.
Don't tell me to bring shit if you're asking me to do shit.
Right. And it was for charity. So I'm sure that
and
all the women.
Yeah, but still, if I'm going to do it for charity, make sure that you're doing me right.
Right. Like, don't make me feel dirty.
I'm working on myself. You're making me bring jeans. I now do not match the women that you brought pants for.
Right.
Fuck you. Bring me a size that fits me. Make me feel like I am involved in this, and you didn't throw me a bone of, you can go up there too.
Yeah.
For charity. It's like,
right.
If you're going to do it, fucking get my size.
Okay.
That's it.
I agree. Make them specialty.
Yeah, like that's
with the sample size. Like, I know that wasn't the case, but it's like
here.
the sample. Well, we don't have your size. It's like,
right.
I didn't agree with the way Heather handled it at all. I think that she should have made. I think she should have first asked for everyone's sizes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to
don't
do
just
it correctly.
guess.
Yeah.
Right. And also, when Emily's coming to you saying you made me feel this way, as we know, feelings are not facts.
Feelings are personal.
They're very personal.
But you have to take everybody's feelings into account.
Because they are fact for that person. It is a fact that I felt this way. Maybe not a fact that you made me feel this way, but the situation, I'm feeling like I put in a lot of hard work and you still see me as in Emily's
And
words,
I'm the main
big girl.
character, and everyone is their main character. So
In
for
their
me,
story.
it hurts. So I'm the main character. You hurt me. I'm gonna be hurt. So that's the thing. The feelings of that. But I thought I just think it's bullshit that you're gonna do it that way. And I get that it's for a charity, and there was probably bigger and better, not better, but bigger things to worry about of making money, and that maybe your pants weren't the biggest thing.
Right.
But still, make the effort, or even just say, I apologize, and go up to her and say, if you felt any way, I do apologize. I should have been better at doing this. And just vocalize how bad you feel. But for none of that to ever happen either, it's something else.
I think they left on a good note this last episode. But when Emily, even in the second round, when everything had kind of calmed down, because they got into it, and then they have a real sit down. And when Emily again tells how she's feeling, Heather says, you know, that's crazy. And it's like, but it's not crazy. And everybody has their own way of defending themselves, or has their own, I always say, perception is a crazy thing. And that's where we always go wrong with each other is, you know, my perspective on something may be very different from yours. And I'm trying to work on it as well. Tamara hands you a package that her intention is great, but here's a pile of shit. In Shannon's mind, you're giving me a pile of shit. I tend to be that way too, and I'm working on it, where if someone's telling me how they're feeling, immediately you have to step into a place of, that was not my intention. I am so sorry that it came across that way. I'm going to do better next time. And Heather was not giving that at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it's like to struggle with your weight. Again, I think we all have our own insecurities, whether it be face-related, weight-related.
Too skinny, too
Everybody thick. We all have it, right? And when someone like Emily has been vocal about her obsession with going to the gym, it's an addiction for her at this point. I think for her, and I think she's actually said this, in her mind, she's always going to be the big girl, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. No matter how much weight she loses or how hard she works out.
Some people are there's 3 different bone structures. Look them up, but there's like a skinny, a normal, and then a big bone.
What is normal though? Does that?
But even
there's
it's
names,
like average,
like
and
average?
But no,
percentile.
there's literal names for like your bone build.
Okay.
And I have a skinny bone build. My buddies have bigger. I can't get my wrists bigger. Their wrists are big.
And
so
even,
sometimes
like
you're
the way
just,
your bones are.
Yeah, just sometimes you can only get as thin as you can get. Don't kick yourself for not being able to get thinner because your body won't allow it.
But even if I hear, yes, 100%, but even, it's like Khloe Kardashian. She's like, it doesn't matter if I'm a size 0. I'm always going to feel like the big girl. Even if some people,
big boned.
Yeah, well, even if they weren't big boned, let's say you're overweight, there's so many people, I have family members like this. They are 100, whatever. They're no body fat. They're not even big boned. And they're like, yes, but deep down, I lived that way for 25 years. I'm always going to feel that way.
Okay.
It's just like an insecurity.
That's so true, because
You
I have
know?
a buddy. You know him too. He caught his hair on fire.
Oh, yeah. In a little league football game.
But obviously he's like 27 now. But we were talking about this a month ago. But he even says like he feels like that as well. And he's to a point where like he is big boned and can't lose any more weight, but he wants to, and he still carries like the big brother.
It's like the
But
feeling,
he's the little brother. But he's like,
yeah.
So I agree. I get that.
Yeah.
All right. See.
Just like,
Emily was looking for just a little bit of compassion in that moment, and I hope that she walked away and got it. We'll see. They just filmed the reunion over the weekend, so I'm super excited about it.
I love Heather so much, and I respect her. I think out of all of the housewives, I think she has some out of touch moments. And
How could you not?
She's my
How
favorite.
could you fucking not?
But like emotionally, because some moments I see
emotionally.
her. Yes, some
Okay,
moments
yeah,
I
yeah.
see her and I'm like, she's so emotionally mature. And then other moments I'm like, girl, you know better than this.
No,
you
but
know
you gotta
to
play
be more
both.
compassionate.
But that's when she does that. That's how she knows that she gotta go that. You have to do
Balance.
this to know this, you know? Good balance for
I
it.
think it always, too, goes back to how you were raised. Like, if you had a mom who maybe had a hard time, not saying she did, I'm just throwing it out there, that sometimes we grow up in a certain way and we just don't know any better.
Exactly.
That's who raised us.
Or can't relate to the feeling of like, well, why would you feel this way? What? That's crazy. Well, you can't relate, but like, you know what? It's like you've never been in that situation to feel that feeling. So you think it's crazy, but it's not crazy because that person is feeling it.
Well, again, I'd hit it with Emily 100%.
She's stunning.
Her, yes, beyond. She has sex eyes, baby making eyes.
Absolutely.
Like
100%.
Come on over eyes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop now.
She's getting horny.
Johnny J has made his appearance into the confessional room next to Alexis. Alexis extended an olive branch by sending Shannon a floral arrangement. And that's when Shannon sends the text or whatever, says she's going to send it. That was Alexis's way of extending an olive branch. I think the damage is you can't repair it, right?
Right.
Alexis says, I'm done, when Jen and Katie walk in and basically try to deliver the soft news of you're not coming to London. And she basically kicks them out in a very kind way. She was not aggressive. She's broken. But I loved John's interview because he's like, I filed the lawsuit. By the way, Shannon has never looked better and neither has Johnny J. They both look great, okay? Shannon looks better because she's a bad bitch. And Johnny J, like, if you would just shut the fuck up and just be like a stick figure, just sit there.
Right.
Don't talk, don't breathe.
No.
Just sit there.
Just
worm energy.
So
worm energy.
A mannequin with his head on it.
That's the word I was looking for. Not a stick figure, a mannequin. He looks great, okay? But he's like, I filed the lawsuit because I realized the statute of limitations was about to be up. And I'm like, oh, so you only had 7 days left to prove you're an asshole?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. The statute of limitations is only allowing me 37 more hours to prove I'm a dick.
So true.
You're insane.
Wait, how do we feel about this lawsuit? Because in my mind, I'm like, am I not understanding something? She offered the money. So why don't you just go, okay?
He wants the gag order. Okay. Unpopular opinion. You come to me and try to silence me, get the fuck out of my face. And I have said this, and even Johnny J, as big of a piece of shit as he is, and I will die on that hill, you are a piece of shit, Johnny J. I stand by, our voice is all we have at times, and you will not silence me.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah.
You could come to me and say, this will all be done for $500 million. I would actually shut the fuck up for $500 million.
So she has a price.
No, but lie.
Yeah, I do have a price.
You have
got a price.
I think that is so powerful, but here's my question. Let me pitch it to you in this light.
Disagree with me. Die on the disagreement hill.
Go.
I'm begging both of you.
Here we go. So you say, but in the situations you've been in, if you've been in these situations, wink, you're in situations where you're being offered or told silence when you know your voice speaking up would help others. You'd be truly speaking out against evil in a situation where is Johnny J just not what is his voice being why is she wanting him to sign a gag order? I don't know if this has been spoken about. Are there photo what is he wanting to talk about?
I think it was a really horrific night that night.
Okay.
And I think Shannon wants it to be put to bed. I don't want it used against me. I'm trying to heal and I want it to just be done. Let me move on with my life without you trying to make it hard. You've got Alexis now. Mm-hmm. You've got a beautiful life. Go live it and don't talk about me. And to ensure that you go and live a beautiful life, and so do I, sign this agreement that just says you won't talk about me anymore.
So in that case, do you think maybe he should have signed it? Because it's or are you no, because she did a bad thing, and if he's got more to say, he should say it.
Well, let me tell you something. If he has to shut the fuck up about you, you got to shut the fuck up about him too. That should have been in the agreement. I think we will both sign something and we will never talk poorly about each other again. They don't have children involved. They have no tie to each other. Cut each other loose. Sign something to ensure that neither of you will talk poorly about each other and move the fuck on.
Is there an obsession that they have with each other?
No, I think Shannon just wants to move on with her life. I think Johnny J
wants control of everything.
I think he has a little bit of narcissism in him. There's stages or levels to narcissism, and he just is out to get her. I don't get it. It's wild. And I think it's a little $75,000, it's a lot of money, but I'm like, $75,000, buddy.
But
Just
Shannon,
fucking eat it,
right?
you dick.
Shannon does have kids though, right? Like just to say, like
They don't have kids together.
Together, but in my mind, I do understand where it's like. She does want him to shut up because what he says will affect her kids' lives.
He has kids too.
Oh, yes.
Go talk poorly about them to the kids.
Yeah.
It's a public thing. I can still talk shit about you to my friends.
I'm just not going to make statements.
Yeah, and by the way, you just have someone else.
I was just going to say, can you
Twitter
get around
finger up.
it by having someone else?
Yes.
Why aren't you having me talk shit, La?
Because I'm not a little bitch.
Ding,
and I'll
ding,
say
ding.
that
Do it
shit
herself.
on my own.
Yes.
'Cause I ain't signing shit. You know? So there's that. SLC, we're only like 3 episodes deep for this week. Mary's son is in rehab for fentanyl and cocaine. That's what I read online. I don't know if he checked himself in. Someone else checked him in. All I know is
He's there and getting help.
He's there getting help. We're going to wish him all of the best and send him our love and prayers.
Yes.
It's officially started. There's a new girl, Bronwyn. All right. My first take on her, I was like, Bronwyn. We had an OC house. What are the chances?
Bronwyn.
Only in Utah would we have a Bronwyn. My God. Next to Kaylee, spelled the longest way possible. Leigh. And it's also Kay.
Basic.
Why so many letters to get to such a basic ass name?
Yeah.
Sorry, Kaylee's.
We still love ya.
Great name.
Like, I'm going to start spelling my name Lahlah.
La. Somebody
La.
said, somebody commented in today's episode, if you were a PI, your name would be LAW.
Lala. Wow.
Why did I put that? Why did I say
Lala.
That's legit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure how I felt about her. She made her entrance with that big furry heart, which I've only seen on Rihanna. And she did point out there's only 3 in the world, and Rihanna is one of the owners of this piece. It's fabulous, but only if you're Rihanna. Otherwise, fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So they're at this get together outside. It's like a festive. What's the thing that celebrates love?
Marriage.
Valentine's
Day.
So Bronwyn is sitting with Mary. Brittany, the new girl who's dating an Osmond, sits down and she's like, I love your costumes. And they're like so offended by it. And already, like, we know who Mary is, right? First, I fixate because they both kind of come at her and talk about like brands and designers. The only thing I can focus on is the fact that Mary Cosby has a giant, what I hope would be faux fur, it might have been real fur, jacket on that looks like it has spray painted Dolce & Gabbana and giant double C gloves, Chanel. And I'm like, honey, you can't step in here talking about fashion and designers when the biggest of all the no-nos is what you're doing right
You're
now.
mixing brands.
You just don't do it. I let it slide with shoes. Bags I kind of have a hard time with as well. The shoes, let it slide. The bag needs to go with the fit. Have I broken this before? Yes, but I do not show up on camera and I do not take pictures.
She sure doesn't.
So that already, I was like, you, Mary, shut the fuck up because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then Bronwyn, I was like, okay, you're annoying. But then she is in her confessional and she was like, I'm like a Tim Burton character. And I was like, okay, I actually like you. You're extravagant. You're quirky. You're a little weirdo.
Yeah.
So fucking into you. Her husband is like 500 years old. Little weird, but whatever. No judgment. He invented, I guess, the Palm Pilot. So they are rich. Her house is a little nauseating. But again, she's a Tim Burton character. So we let that slide too. I'm digging the new girl, Bronwyn.
Eccentric.
She's dope. Okay. So now we're at the game, right? And Brittany, who's a new character, friend of, is dating the Osmond guy.
Yes.
And she finds out from our fabulous Greek princess, Angie, that her brow girl is getting DMs from Jared Osmond. And Brittany is very upset about it because he asked her to be his girlfriend. Brittany seems to be a little bit emotionally stunted.
Yeah.
I think it's because she used to be a Mormon and was married at a young age and had children, and they get that way. The people who get married too young. How do you develop? And I've never been in a serious relationship ever, never been married, and I am very emotionally mature. Very emotionally mature.
Very.
Some would say the most.
She is quite.
Fuck.
Yeah.
No, but it's sad because I'm like, why are we acting like we're 14, Brittany?
I know,
Come on,
but
Britt.
it did make me sad because I expected a little pushback of her to be like, well, you're brow girl, anything. And she wasn't. She heard it
She's
and she
not
was
like that.
oh, that was sad. And then she cried.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
And Meredith went and comforted her. Meredith has now called Whitney out on purchasing her Prism stuff from Alibaba.
Yeah, how do we feel about that?
I don't love it.
I don't
love it. And if this is true, the image kind of showed that it was true, that she's also taking the image from Alibaba and using the same image to push her stuff.
And let's be clear, everyone. We see it because I've seen it. I saw a lot of write-ups about it this morning. It happens. I mean, it's kind of well known that it happens with a lot of brands, but I think the point was like the markup was wild,
crazy.
And also that she was not making it look maybe as honest as others do.
Well, I think Meredith was like, if this were me doing this type of thing, Whitney would be on my ass about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love at one of the dinner parties that it was Heather, Meredith, and Lisa Barlow coming at Whitney. That felt a little intense and a little attackish. I don't know if they made it look that, like heightened it looking that way for, in the editing room, but it was a lot. And Whitney stood her ground. But I do see where Meredith is coming from. She's like, hold up, if this were me or anybody else, you would bring it up. You talked about Lisa maybe hooking up with some guy who hooks her up with jazz tickets. Like, you definitely carry the bone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to carry the bone now. So that's another storyline. Again, we're only 3 episodes in, so we're getting the momentum. I like it so far.
Can we put a pin in or something in the fact that this is something you should have done? You, seeing those women watch the practice of all those hot basketball men, I was thinking like Lala should be, we need to get you not only watching a practice, but then going into
and then fucking all of them.
And then
Just
fucking
kidding.
all of
With
them.
your 2 strollers.
At once.
Fuck you.
They were hot men.
Were they?
You did not see?
I kind of zoned out because I was breastfeeding.
Oh, fucking hell.
They were
Sorry.
hot men.
I'll go back and watch.
Yeah.
I'll definitely
Gotta get her going.
go back.
Thank God I'm leaving town.
12:31, by the way, just because you said that.
I want to go
We're good.
back to one thing and then we'll wrap up. I want to go back to one thing that happened where Angie, I think this was episode 1, maybe 2, Angie pulls out a scroll for Meredith. And it has all of these things listed on what Meredith needs to apologize to Angie for. Let me be very, very clear on this. It's stupid. It was not a moment. It feels like a bit. We are too far into the housewives game to start do shit like that. It's like bringing notes now to the reunion. It's like, it's been done. You saw it before. It's like you sat at home and thought, what can I do that's crazy? It doesn't feel real and organic. It would be like watching someone flip a table now and it's like, not impressed. Doesn't feel organic. Teresa did it before, like season 1, before the season had even aired. Please stop trying to make something a moment.
It's try hard.
It's so try hard.
Moments come organically. That's
They
the
do.
thing.
And I want housewives who are new to stop doing it. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I love Angie K. And she's in the center of the picture, by the way.
Ooh.
When they have their, whatever they have,
Snow
snowflakes, snow globes. I think they're holding snowflakes,
Snowflakes?
AI snowflakes.
Or that.
She's the center.
Wow.
She is the center. You guys, we're going to call it a day because, I also want to say that Jared Osmond is a clown.
A clown. I'm just echoing.
We've got
agreeing
2
with
clowns
Lala.
on the air. They go by the names of John Jansen, a.k.a. Johnny J. Be on the lookout. He does have an alias in these streets.
Oh, my God.
And Jared Osmond.
Are we aching reliefing?
Let's ache and relief it, and then we'll send Easton off to Hawaii. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, go for it, Jess.
This isn't the annual Hawaii trip, by the way, you guys. That happens in December. My ache. I am horrified that Hurricane Helene or Helene is just like, and this might be just me, it doesn't seem to be in the news. And so many people have died from it and things are just ruined. Houses are gone. Families are misplaced. And animals. Like, it's crazy.
It's horrific.
And I'm just now, like, this morning was really trying to catch up, and I felt so weird about it. Like, why am I sitting here trying to catch up on this news when I feel like it should be in front of my face? Like, I'm on socials. I don't know, but I'm doing more research today, but it just... Obviously, prayers for those misplaced families and beings and animals, and it's horrific and heartbreaking.
Thank you for bringing that up, Jess.
Of course.
That was my ache.
Oh, was that your ache? Yeah. I mean, and then relief is just I got to see my nephew this past weekend, Carter, my sister's son. I'm an auntie, and it was beautiful just to see my family and hang with my cute little moon man is what my sister calls him. It's
moon
yeah,
man.
she's like, my moon man. It's so
that
cute.
That is so cute.
I know.
I love that.
Mr. Moon.
Mr. Moon.
He's so cute. Okay. So yes.
Perfect. Yeah. My ache of the week is the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Landon, his family lives in the Carolinas.
They're 40 miles out of Asheville.
Yeah, and still got hit with it. They just got power back on what, Saturday?
Yesterday, so
Sunday. They just got power back on. I feel like they aren't doing a lot of televised things going on there. I also heard, don't know if it's true, Elon Musk had helicopters flying in to deliver like supplies.
I hope so.
And they weren't letting them in the airspace.
Wow.
And just like this morning, just not to interrupt, but as of like a couple hours ago, over 220 dead as some communities struggle to get basic supplies. That is like in the U.S.
They're sending like pack mules in. My mom's been in touch with a few people in Asheville that have been sliding into her DMs, and they said it. I have been at home and I have been watching the news, and it is making local news and national news. The problem is people who are living there don't feel like it's productive news.
Right. Well, did you hear you can get a $750 like check from the state?
Right.
And you have to apply online.
Well, there's no
internet.
There's
so
I can't.
Thanks for helping.
I don't even have a house.
Yeah.
Let alone
the
Wi-Fi
internet or a phone. That's in the water too. I have my life, and that's what I have right now.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. People losing their animals.
Yeah.
Like,
well, by the way, if there's anyone there who has access to a phone and can send, like, where would be the best place to send
supplies?
Like, how do we get to you? How do we send money?
An address. What's a great address that we could send things it can now be dispersed throughout?
Where's the most productive place to send money? Mm-hmm. Because I'm getting a lot of what the news is saying and what my mom is hearing from people who are there are conflicting.
Very different.
Yes. Like boots on the ground people that we could we could post a link and send like, oh, these are people who are literally going in, risking their lives probably and helping.
I will say, and this is a trigger warning, one of the women that my mom has been talking to said there are bodies in trees. It's horrific.
Yeah.
Just sick. That is like happening, not that it would be any less heartbreaking if it wasn't happening in the U.S., but these are our neighbors. And I'm like researching it this morning, like why it just feels crazy.
Yeah.
Right, like why wouldn't it be popping up? Why wouldn't I be getting alerts like the alert that I get about an elderly person?
Yes.
Like it should be
everywhere.
And we shouldn't be going from the news about the hurricane to like, and in other news, Sally the donkey in Los Angeles walked 15 miles. It's like, what the fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
Well, it's very strange, the news.
Yeah.
Which we knew based off of the morning show on Apple TV. Do you have a relief before we send you on your way? Because we're pushing it on time.
I'm going to Hawaii for a wedding. That's a relief. But no, other than that, I don't have one.
All right.
It's a sickening world right now.
Perfect.
My relief will be when it gets a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amen to that. If you want to head out, Easton, you can.
No, you're good. You're good.
12:40. I will say that my ache is the same as your guys's. And I think my relief is just my life. I'm a very, very happy human. I feel very blessed and fortunate. And I not only pray for all of you guys, but I thank God for my life that I have.
We love you. We're so glad to have you
back.
Be back.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for holding down the podcast while I was gone. Everybody loved you, as I knew that they would. Thank you for continuing to listen to the Give Them Lala podcast, and I will catch you next week. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Did I get all 3? I'm getting really good at that.